So we're continuing to talk about the tools in your toolkit or your arsenal when you are going through recruitment processes and endeavoring to secure top talent for your organizations. Now, when we look at role requirements, the majority of role requirements in South Africa would have certain levels of qualifications as an absolute essential before a candidate can be considered for a role. And of course, there is much to say for good qualifications. Most corporate clients would see that it is at least a base indicator of someone's level of exposure and the ability to think at higher level. But very sadly also, the quality of qualifications have really, and of the educational system, have really degressed so badly that a lot of people come through schools and even prestigious schools and they still really are qualified but clueless and they can't do the job. And you know, more and more in my discussions with senior leaders, they are saying to me nowadays, I recruit for attitude even more than for qualification. So, of course, there are certain positions which you simply cannot step into if you don't have a certain certification. You know, you must be a GCC to be legally appointed as an engineer, or you must have a CASA qualification if you need to sign off on financials, or if you are going to be practicing in the legal space. There are certain qualifications and memberships that you need, and you would need to be an admitted attorney, for example, before you can fulfill certain roles. But there are other roles where qualification is almost more of a preference than an essential. And in those cases, it could really come back to bite you if you, for example, put a degree as an essential qualification, because some of the most brilliant leaders that I've seen who have built very successful organizations or very successful teams within organizations have hardly any tertiary qualification. But because they have always applied themselves to learning, they have let themselves be coached and sought out coaches who could train them and make them more than what their academic qualification would have suggested they would know. And they have gone out to read wider. And instead of going an academic route, they have continued learning, but in a different way. Many times, their original ways of thinking, their innovative ways of thinking within the boundaries of corporate organizations have made them very, very successful. So, you know, if qualification or a degree then becomes an essential before they can step into that role, there might be a lot of very brilliant people that is now not part of the mix of candidates that you could consider. So it's something to think about carefully. When you put those role requirements together, is this qualification really essential, or could we do without it if we find the right caliber of candidate? You know, getting back to my point of a lot of the senior leaders saying that nowadays they recruit for attitude more than anything else, especially once the basic requirements are in place. There's a lot of candidates that expect to be paid at a certain level and be appointed in a certain position simply because they carry a certain higher level qualification. But because they've only given themselves to the academic qualification and never applied themselves to learning and applying that knowledge and doing the job on the ground, they are very incompetent when it comes to do the work, yet they seem to be highly competent because of the qualifications that they carry. And the only way for you to really find out whether they have made that switch from the academic knowledge to the application side and they really would be able to come and add value is by doing very in-depth competency-based interviewing. So once you start asking them about what they have done, talk to us about projects, give us the information, delve deeper, ask more. How did you do this? What did you do there? What was that about? The deeper you delve there and the more you base your recruitment or your interviewing process on those real life examples, the more likely you are to catch it out. Because if they continue to talk in very high level terms, generic kind of terms, it is very easy to start seeing, okay, they might have been part of a team that's done it, but they didn't really do the work. Whereas the guy who actually is talking too much, who can't keep his mouth shut about everything that he's done, there you can see, okay, he knows this in depth because he has faced this problem. He has done that. He has needed to sort out that. He has gone there. And that makes it easy to actually identify who really knows the work and who only knows it from a very high level academic perspective and haven't really given themselves to be part of that team. Of course, another way you can make sure that those qualifications don't get you someone who is clueless, although they are qualified, is by giving them a type of working interview. So on the spot, bring them in for a few hours into your company. Give them a laptop, give them access to certain people that they would need to have access to, and give them a real life problem that would be similar to things that they would need to deal with in the job, and see how they go about it. Do they have the innovative qualities you're looking for? Will they pick up a phone and find out? And even though their solution might not be perfect for your organization, because they don't know the ins and outs of how you go about things, it should give you a very good idea of whether they are capable and able to use and apply that higher level thinking to get to solutions to problems. So think of including working interviews, or otherwise at least presentations. And, even there, you could consider booking a longer time with them, getting them in and asking them to prepare a presentation literally on the spot right there, and having to present that back to you within 2 or 3 hours, especially if they are going to be going into senior level positions where they will need to present and they will need to represent you in meetings and, corporately to outsiders and other stakeholders in the organization. They should be able to put those higher level thoughts together and be able to defend a point or bring something across. So make use of those tangible, real life scenarios, examples, and confirmed value add. And then, of course, if you back that up with properly done references to confirm this, you should have a fairly good overview and insight into their ability and capabilities. That qualification is not just theory, but that they have gone the way to go and implement and apply. And then, of course, for those who don't necessarily need that higher level qualification to be able to function in the role, whether they actually have given themselves to learning at that level so that they can come and apply that in your environment and bring that value add in.